What's going on, everybody? Yo, Warren.
What's going on, bro?
Like, I don't know how to feel about this one, bro. Like, I feel like everybody's to blame: the offense, the defense, Jalen, and Nick for this loss.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Got a lot to talk about. What's going on, everybody? Let's talk about this very, very upsetting game that we just had to watch on Sunday. The Eagles versus the Bucks. Man, Jay, very disappointing, very upsetting, especially after the win that they got with the Saints. We thought the defense was going to mesh well, get even better than before. We thought the offense, we knew there was going to be struggles on the offense with no Devontae Smith, with no A.J. Brown. But we had our faith in Jalen to rely on those backup receivers, Saquon, and with Dallas Goedert, and we just didn't make it work, man. But Jay, what did you see during this game?
I just saw more inconsistency. This team, to describe them so far for the year, is inconsistent. Like, at times the offense is moving, at times you see the defense getting stops, but right now, how I feel about them is just inconsistency. The first two drives of the games for the Bucks, 14 zip, just driving the ball right down the Eagles' throat, and it's just they had no answer for them. Everything was working. Baker Mayfield had all the time in the world, no pass rush. Like, I don't understand how Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter just keep disappearing from game to game. One game they play good, one game they play bad. But especially Jordan Davis, I feel like he's been disappearing in a lot of games.
Yeah, Jordan Davis has that whole defensive line has been an issue.
Yeah.
And I like what Rich is saying right here. No defense adjustments.
Mhm.
I believe that, and also I think with Cooper DeJean being out, we'll tap a little bit into that a little bit more. But I think not everybody is playing in the roles that they want right now. Um, there's I feel like there's so much mess behind the scenes to where this is why this team is being inconsistent. All four games, we've gotten four different teams. When you think about it,
Yeah,
we've gotten four
inconsistent.
different teams. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
I,
they're completely different. Every single game so far is like their identity is definitely there's no identity so far.
none at all. Let's look at these stats real quick. So looking at the offensive stats, we got Jalen Hurts at 158 yards, one touchdown. Saquon, 10 carries. 10 carries with this team. When Tampa Bay is not, we pulled up the stats where they're ranked last week, where they were on their run
Rush defense.
defense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it was
killed.
like 24, I believe. Like we did not utilize that at all. And when I watched the game, I saw they were trying to get the run game going, but they stopped Barkley a few times.
Mhm.
And I think when they stopped Barkley, that deflated them just a tad bit and made them say, let's try to do something on the pass side. Let's see what Richard says. Hurts was holding the ball too long, didn't adjust with the blitz. He didn't. Now
Yeah,
I will say Jalen Hurts did perform better this game against the blitz than he did in that playoff game. So
yeah.
people
He
are
handled
saying the
Tampa
slight
Blitz better,
progression.
but he still got sacked 5 times, I believe. Right?
Yeah. And we were kind of just
Six
defending Hurts
times.
with yeah, we were defending him with all these fumbles and mistakes that he's made. He's found a way to make it up, whether it was a rush yard or try to gain those yards back. He would find a way to make it up.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely attempted it this game, but nothing to make it a game changer.
Yeah.
Going 21-0.
I will say, I'm a big, fan of Jalen, and I still think he gives us the best chance to win. I don't know who do people think we could get out there at this point that could help us win, or whoever's on the roster, or whatever. But this was a bad game from him. I would say this was a bad game. He's already historically struggled against Tampa. Something about Todd Bowles' defense. It's something about that he struggles versus them. It's just what it is already. I think he's 0-3 against them career, 1-3 against them career. Um, he didn't play good. I will say that he held the ball for too long. He was not taking the check downs. He was trying to, he missed Saquon on the first throw, his attempt. He threw it. He throws that 10 yards to the inside. Saquon catches that, runs for a touchdown, first play of the game. So, everything is there. I just think the Eagles offense need a little fine tweaking.
The Bucks just got his number at the end of the day.
At this point.
They know how to perform with him. Everybody knows he likes to bail out to the right. We get that. He realizes that. A lot of other teams realize that. What do you think? What do you think Kellen Moore is doing to help him avoid that? I guess that's my question to that. As intelligent Kellen Moore is, and he's said to be one of the top offensive coordinators in the NFL. I wonder what he's trying to do to kind of scheme that out and take that out of his gameplay, even though it has been successful. What are they going to do to try to fix that? Because that's his MO right now, and that's what defenses know.
Yeah, that's defense. Yeah, Tampa's keyed in on him every single game. But this is my thing. Coming into this game, like you're out all these receivers. Why not have a rush heavy offensive game plan? 20 carries is not enough. You feel me? Like, why not 30, 35 carries? And Barkley had that big break for a run. I mean, you were down receivers. Why not get into these jumbo sets, these 12 looks, these 13 looks, and just run the ball, bro. Run the ball. Go behind the offensive line. I understand you're out lane. I understand other people are banged up, but why not just go with what the strength is? Jalen can run. Saquon can run. Kenny G will get something in. I just don't understand why it wasn't a full-fledged offensive run game plan. I don't understand.
Yeah, let's see what Richard says. Seattle used to give us a hard time, but they did.
Yeah,
They really did.
Seattle,
And
yeah. Seattle still gives us a hard time. We haven't beat them in a long time.
I'm trying to figure, like, there has to be something that's holding Jalen back. Could it be the offensive line? Because they do have the tallest offensive line, and Jalen, I want to say, is right at 6 foot. Like, he's about the same height as Russell Wilson.
It's
So
6'5", 6'1".
so your shorter quarterbacks are gonna have a harder time, like just seeing down the field. But he's been able to perform without that. So there's so many questions that we have right now with the way this team was playing. But my biggest concern right now, and even though our offense didn't perform the way we expected to, AJ Brown's injured, Devontae Smith's injured, Lane Johnson is out.
Yep.
Like, we had all that, but what happened with this defense? This was the time for the defense to step up. Like, this was the time
Knowing
for
the
the
offense
defense
is,
to
is
come in.
wounded. Yeah, knowing the offense
Exactly.
is wounded.
And even just looking at this, Darius Slay, he had the most tackles this game. I don't even read Blankenship drops all the way down to just 5 total tackles. Well, 5 tackles and what does it say? 4 solos.
I believe Quinyon Mitchell played good. He gave up a couple plays, but his passer rating was low when targeted, and he had that good pass defense in the end zone when he was one-on-one versus Evans.
Quinyon Mitchell has been the most consistent player on this team. Like, he had the pass breakup with the Packers. He had the other pass breakup with the Saints. Another pass breakup with the Falcons. Like, he almost got the strip interception with that.
Yeah, he's always
he's
around
been
them.
consistent.
The pass defense he had against Mike Evans, as soon as Mike Evans put his hand up, he just put his hand right in the vicinity of where the ball would land, and the ball hit him right in the back of the hand. So, very smart play from him. I just wish Fangio would let these guys press a little more. This off coverage, even Brady said it. This off coverage, man, with these young, speedy guys is, it's not what you really want because, you get them running, pedaling backwards and a guy running, a shallow on them. And now, they're already lost from the moment. 5 yards in, they're lost.
And I forgot who I was talking to about this. That bend but don't break defense, that is reliant on your defensive line to add that pressure. They're not applying no pressure to the quarterbacks.
Nothing. There's not. The quarterback is stepping up into his spot and he's just hitting his targets. It's frustrating to watch the way these zone defenses were playing. There's so many pockets, man. Just these receivers are sitting down in the pockets and just getting these chunks of yards. And it's because Fangio plays this too high safety look, trying to prevent the big play. And we always end up giving up 15, 12-yard plays, 13, 17-yard plays, 8-yard plays, all because he's trying to keep everything in front of him. I just wish he would let these cornerbacks press the receivers a little bit more at the line, which he does not do.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people say that Bryce Huff is playing to his jersey number right now.
Yeah, like a 0.
Yeah, he's playing to his jersey number.
Sad.
It's frustrating watching this team. Yes, you can blame the Heat. You can blame the Heat at the end of the day. Being somebody that's lived in Florida, yeah, it was 90-something degrees, but the humidity's got it at 104. So yeah, they're burning up. Yeah, they're burning up. But at the same time, that's when teams like that's when you show your heart in that game. That's when you show that you want it more than the other person. And this team just didn't do that. Jay, let's go into the comments real quick. We got Richard on Hurts defense. They were dropping the ball as well. Yeah. We got Dennis, our guy Dennis. He said, read Blankenship.
Crying over crabs, yeah. No love for Blankenship still. Dennis, no love for him still.
Yeah, he said, I think Vic Fangio was in his press conference today. He was saying that he didn't know that Reed had some type of food poisoning or something. But my thing is, if you got that, step out.
Yeah, don't play, yeah.
And that whole tackle he did going at Baker Mayfield's ankles rather than just hitting him head up.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Like, what if that was Jenkins? What if that was Dawkins hitting him just straight up like that?
Yeah, lit him up.
So it's like, come on now.
Not a feat.
We got Richard. Cornerback, we're allowed to give receivers too much cushion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They were systematically, like you said, breaking. They were just hitting every pocket 15 yards, 20. Just hitting everything, man.
We got Dennis.
Sidney, I don't think so, man. Quinyon Mitchell did pretty good.
Sidney Brown
is a safety.
And going with that, Sidney Brown is expected. Vic Fangio also said to expect Sidney Brown to possibly play this game against the Browns. Possibly. Okay. But he said with his injury, the last time he played was January. So he's got to get comfortable. He's got to get acclimated. He's got to learn his system. Yes, he's done the walkthroughs, but playing at that speed, he still has to get comfortable with that.
He's got to get up to speed, yeah.
Yeah. We discussed it earlier. He said, Jay, stop taking my GTA shark cards. So, why are you?
And I'm not wonderful, Dennis?
What's going on, Dennis? Dennis always keeps us laughing, man.
I gotta
don't know where
Dennis,
to start from Nikki. Nikki, I don't know about everybody that's on right now, but in the middle of watching this game, didn't you just want to turn it off? It got to a point where you just wanted to turn it off.
And then they teased us like they're gonna come back, get the little the pick 2. I mean the pick the scoop 2 for 2 points. Then I'm like, oh, they have a chance. They got a chance. Then they turn it over again in the red zone. I was like, oh, it's over, man.
Then they get the first stop. The first stop that they get.
Yeah.
The Bucs hit that punt return. Isaiah Rodgers, why are you pushing the players into Cooper? Why are we doing that? Like, where's that coming from?
That's
and then they
Cooper...
interview. Yeah, they interviewed him and asked him about it. He was like, "Well, I was usually that's a technique that I do. Didn't know I couldn't do that. Come on now, bro. Come on now."
And then Ringo ran into DeJean later in that game.
Yeah, Devin White not playing a head scratcher.
Oh yeah, we're gonna speak
Yeah,
about that. So yeah, but
yeah.
then
Let's actually tap into that now. Um, Devin White, I feel like they are. I feel like at the end of the day, Devin White is injured. I personally feel like Devin White is injured, and the type of injury he has, he needs to sit out. That's my personal opinion with Devin White. Like that has to be the reason. You're not just keeping a guy on the roster and just like let somebody literally just take his position in front of him. There's no way they're just. That's pretty messed up if that's what their intentions are. I think Devin White has an injury to where they want him to heal up, and as we get closer and closer to the postseason, that's when they can put him in. But they have trust in Kobe Dean to at least start this season off. That's my personal opinion. There's no reason to have him just sitting out like that.
he this is one of the peculiar things. Is usually when a guy's a healthy scratch is for two reasons. Usually he's either disciplined or he's injured. I'm sorry, not he's injured, or he's disciplined or he's not playing for a specific reason. Healthy
Yeah.
scratch, it could be anything. But he shouldn't be injured, which is weird because it could be a phantom injury we don't know about. They're trying to hide it. And like cause he healthy scratch each week. You see him smiling on the sideline. But let's get into the thing where they said that he shared the strip fumble of Jalen. He shared the strip fumble. He shared it on
Yeah.
X. Then deleted it and said that he meant to save it. So it's like you don't want to play against your former team. You're bigging up your old teammate, sacking your current quarterback, but you're
Mm,
smiling on the sideline as a healthy scratch. You're clapping on guys. So I'll be honest with you, it's a very peculiar situation. It's not common to have a guy of his caliber who's a pretty decent player sitting as a healthy scratch on his new team without even playing a snap and not even facing his old team.
yeah.
Something's not right. Something's not right.
Well, kind of like it kind of goes with that Tua situation. Technically, Tua wants to play. If they let Tua play right now, Tua would play.
Mhm.
But it gets to a point to where with some of these players, you got to save them from themselves.
Yeah.
And I truly feel like the injury that Devin White has, technically he can play, but if he's not letting whatever injury he has heals, it can hurt him like permanently. So I feel like they're trying to sit him out for that. And
Yeah.
maybe Devin White didn't take it well that first game. That's why he didn't go out to Brazil with them. Because
I
that's the
just
same thing with the Bucks. Because when on the pivot they asked him about it, and he said he's 100%, he can go. But they said we can't. We're not going to let you play with that injury. We're just not going to let you play. So I feel like that's a little bit of what it is, and for you to have that accountability group text going on with AJ and Hurts, like, come on now.
it's weird. He's what I thought. What Bourne is doing is what I thought Devin White would be doing. And like I
Yeah,
thought Devin White was gonna come in, put up crazy numbers, and then the opposite. It's Bourne doing it.
yeah. Let's look at the comments real quick. So we got Richard. Media wants Sirianni's head. Yes, it's the easy person to point the finger at right now. Easy person,
Easiest one.
easy
Yeah. Easiest
target.
one.
He's low hanging fruit, really. Um, what is that? Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown. Well, I don't even know what position they'll put Sidney Brown at though, because Sidney Brown's a safety.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's. I'm curious of where they would put him at. Let's see. Brown too small for Evans' size.
Of
Yeah.
course, and he's a safety. He doesn't have. He's not. Even Mitchell is most corners are too small to guard Mike Evans.
Mm-hmm.
6'5".
Dennis, you always welcome to the show, man. You know that. You got to reach out to us.
Yeah.
It's
We don't
gotta
know when
work.
you're free. Yeah, we don't know.
It works both
You could
ways,
come
my
on any
guy.
single time.
You're a busy guy now with the fantasy and everything. Like you the busy guy. So you gotta let us know when you're available. Let's see, Nikki. Facts. I want it over. Yeah, that
It's a comeback tease. That's the best way to put it, man. That's when I was like, yo, that last it was like 7, 8 minutes. I was, this is over, man.
it
This
was.
is
But
over.
after that defensive stop, I had so much hope for that team. I was like, okay, the defense is coming back. And then that crazy fumble that happened, and I was
Yeah,
like,
two
okay,
point is
yeah,
the
this,
2 point thing is it's
yeah,
just a weird. It's a weird game.
and that pass that Baker had that got tipped, and the receiver still caught it. It's just like everything's not going to work our way.
There
Everything's
was
just
two
not going to.
tip passes. It happened twice. And let me tell you something. The the Eagles defense played better in the second half.
They
They
did.
played better in the second half of the game. First half of the game, they couldn't get anything going. If the offense would have just got into some, in a little shootout, that game would have been much different. But they couldn't match the Bucks offense.
Do you think this would have been a more competitive game with the defense playing as they were if we had Devontae and if we had AJ?
Yeah, completely. Bro, they're completely. Yo, listen, Jahan Dotson and Johnny Wilson and Paris Campbell. No disrespect to them, they're NFL players, but they're not AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. You just even need one of those guys to make the defense have a whole different approach on things. You just need even one of them. Because AJ or Smitty's there, at least he has somebody he can form with. Because there's certain routes that these guys are not going to complete well. And the corners are going to jump them, the safeties are going to be lurking. It's just not going to work. There was a reason why the wide receivers only had a couple yards. You understand? All the yards went to Saquon and Calcaterra, which is a tight end, and Goddard, tight end.
Yeah. Yeah, it got to the point to where Goddard was getting all the catches.
Yeah.
Then the fourth quarter, you're seeing Paris Campbell get catches, Dotson getting catches, Wilson getting catches. I was like, where was this? Where was this in the beginning? Like,
Yeah. Goddard dropped a good one, too, in the beginning in the first quarter.
he
That
did.
could have
He did.
extended a drive. He could have extended a drive. You
It's that
got to make these
one-handed catch.
plays. You got to
Yeah.
make these plays when your team is this wounded, you gotta make these plays, and that's no slouch, no slack. He's not no slouch because he's been doing what he needs to do. But you gotta have that one, Dallas. You gotta.
Yeah. Let's see. Dennis. Darren Striker refuses to play special teams.
It'd be some
I
crazy.
think
You see
I
Dallas
think
is
I
like,
think at some point though, like you have to. What is he going to get out of special teams? Like
he's an older
Devin White,
guy.
yeah. Like what is he going to get out of special teams? I feel like I would be the same way though. If you really think about it, you won a Super Bowl as a linebacker, and somebody's telling you, "Oh, just go play special teams."
But you know what though, too, Warren? It could be something. I know they don't want to put it out there, but it could be upset that he's just upset with the backup role, as much as he doesn't want to say
Maybe.
it. He may be upset with the backup role because there's no way this guy's not playing. He may not be able. They may tell him, "Yo, we might guarantee you 20 snaps a game." He doesn't want that. He may not want to hear that. They may be telling him you're a package player now. He doesn't want to hear that. So what Dennis is saying could be true. There could be a role that they're trying to tell him he has to play that he doesn't want to play. I know he doesn't want to be the backup. He wants to be the starter. He's never been a backup.
DJ Rock, what's going on? We appreciate you watching us. I'm actually liking the Hurt season hat too. Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, I think that's from Lord Brunson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord Brunson had those.
Tua's done. Yeah, he doesn't slide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tua's a whole nother story. Like that's sad. That's real
It's
sad.
life and death and long-term longevity. A lot of things tied into that.
Yeah. Nikki,
Dennis.
what Dennis was saying.
See, that's why we gotta bring Dennis.
Facts. Dennis, you got us on Messenger, man. Just let us know.
Hey,
let
Dennis
us know messages. He knows what to do. Dennis knows what to do. He just got his fantasy thing going on. He think he's too cool for us now because he got fantasy.
Now he's too cool. Now we gotta hit him up.
Yeah.
My fault, Dennis.
Yeah. Defense wasn't physical at all. It was soft. Yeah. Yeah. And the lack of tackles.
Like off cover and the missed tackles. We could get into that one if you want to. Let's
The
talk about
missed
the
tackles is
techniques.
ridiculous.
We're back to late 2023 form where we missing tackles under new coaches. And guess what that tells me? Nick Sirianni's still in the building. I keep telling you, if the Eagles struggle in the first 5 games, it's because Nick Sirianni's a problem. He's still in the building. I told you that, bro. Because there's no way this guy's still struggling with this team. It's just unfathomable. It's unbelievable. You got coaches getting less from teams with less of a roster, less players, and this guy can't
Yeah.
seem to get these guys together because the tackling comes straight from the head coaching and the technique that is being taught.
And that's why I don't want to get too deep into it, because who's the person preaching fundamentals the whole time? Who's preaching fundamentals?
Coach.
And J-Rod, I'm honored, gents. Thanks for the compliment. Yo, I want to get one of those Hurt Seasons hats.
Yeah,
Like I need to get one of those.
I think Lord Brunson had that. That's what I remember. If I'm not mistaken, Lord Brunson. That's like he the one who had those hats.
Yeah. But yeah, Jay, let us know if you ever want to come on too. Like, you can message either me or Jay. We'll put you in, and we can talk about this. Anybody, actually, because this is a discussion that's going to be talked about for the next 2 weeks
Yeah, we
over
got a
what
long
this
time.
team needs to do.
This is a very sour
Yeah,
bye week.
left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. But going back to these missed tackles,
Whew.
man,
We put
Maddox.
Avante on a poster, man. Maddox, he made a couple good tackles, but for the most part, he was missing and whiffing, man.
Yeah, Maddox just, and it's almost as if they're diving into them. They're not planting their feet. Like, there's no planting of the feet, just diving straight at them.
So you see that play right there? You see that play right there? I remember Kevin Burkhardt, who was calling the game with Tom Brady. He just said just like this. He said Avante Maddox came in uncontrollably, like wild. Like, if you look at that play, it's like he was running so fast that he just completely missed the target. It was just that was one of the worst missed tackles I've seen in a while.
It's almost as if they're going for the big hit. It's like they're trying to go for the big hit, and it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah, get the strip. A couple play that right there. I think he went up and got about 15, 16 yards off that.
Yeah, the yards at the catch was ridiculous this game.
Yeah, man, got Baker looking like an MVP out here, man. I don't understand how the Eagles defense. Sometimes they make somebody literally look like an MVP.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. But yeah, going into this game, highly disappointed. Definitely wish that this team could have been a lot more aggressive. I will put this out there, and I will say the way this team has been rocking, it's a momentum team. Like, this team feeds off of momentum. And entering into this game with no A.J. Brown, no Devontae Smith, no Lane Johnson, they knew the offense was going to struggle. On the opposite side, you would think this defense would step up. But defense does not step up. And let's also be honest, too. The Bucs got hammered by the Denver Broncos the week before. So
Broncos defense, but the Broncos defense, I'm not gonna lie, they're playing the smash mouth football because I watched the Jets. I was watching the Jets and the Eagles game at the same time, Jets versus Broncos, and Broncos defenses, they're playing pretty serious, and then that's how we were playing the week before. So I thought maybe we could give them same type of challenge. But this team is second to last in takeaways. So we're 31st in takeaways. They have no first quarter points. No, the only team in the NFL with no first quarter points. That's embarrassing. That means that we're getting off to slow starts and we're having to climb out of things. The opposite of what we were doing 2 years ago when we were starting off fast and then kind of fading off toward the end of the game. I'm kind of happy the Eagles are playing at this level right now because I'd rather them play like this now than getting by with little wins that we were getting by last year with real issues going on beneath the surface.
I agree. And speaking of beneath the surface too, we got somebody we got to talk about, Jay. This guy.
Of course, yeah, he's the number one. That's what I'm saying. He's still in the building, and the issues are still arising, and we're having more and more issues. Like, how much further are we gonna go? The Eagles go on any type of losing stretch, I believe he's gonna get fired.
Everybody in the comments right now watching, answer for me. Is Nick Sirianni the problem? Jay, I'll go first with this. Nick Sirianni is the problem.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni is the problem. He's not a defensive coach. He claims to be an offensive coach.
I was about to say, thank you. Keep going.
But cannot move the ball efficiently. He's supposed to be the culture guy, but you saw how the team imploded last year. Even though I hate talking about last year, you saw what he did last year. I really don't know what this guy does. And another reason why I feel like this about Nick Sirianni, look at the coaches that Jalen Hurts has played under. I want to say he's worked at Alabama, his head coach there, strict guy, by the book guy, is going to push you. Is going to take you, it's going to push you, and he's going to discipline you if you're not doing your job correctly. That's what Jalen's used to.
That sounds like Bill Belichick to me.
Yeah, he's going to be somebody, that's what Jalen is used to. It's almost like when you get that one boss at your job, and you just know this guy he's not it.
You don't got to take him serious.
And yeah, he's not gonna develop you. He's not gonna make you better. He's not gonna be that person that's gonna motivate you. He's just not that guy at work. So you tend to be a little bit more laid back. You tend to kind of not be with the standards. You don't play your best. You don't perform your best. And that's what Nick is. And I think that is the issue. And if this team does go far, Kellen Moore, who I think should be in contention to be the head coach, if we lose Kellen Moore, we back in the same boat.
Yeah,
we're back in the same position, looking for another offensive coordinator. And I will say this, I think a big reason why we lost this game on the offensive side was because we were playing Nick ball in the middle of that. We were trying to play Nick ball. And as much as people want to say that Nick does not have any say on these plays, at the end of the day, this is his team. And he seems like the kind of guy that will say, this is my team, and you're going to do the plays that I give you. Yeah, you did these plays, that was good, but I'm going to give you these plays. This is the way we need to play. No offensive coordinator is going to go against their head coach like that unless they want repercussions from it. So I feel like a little bit of that Bucs game was a little bit of Nick. That's my honest opinion. Jay, what do you think?
I put a lot on him for preparation and defense. Like I said, they came out flat, but they did make adjustments in the second half, and they did give up less points overall. But the offense, to me, why did you come out not giving the ball to Saquon right away? Give the ball to Saquon for 3 straight times. You're going to get a first down. Why are you throwing the ball when you have no receivers? Why is there so many pass attempts? Why is there 30 pass attempts with no A.J. Brown, no Devontae? Where is the rushing attack? Where is Will Shipley? Where is the change of pace? So many things could change with this team and go different. Where's the jumbo sets? And you got everybody, some crazy run plays, some ISO plays. It's just, I don't understand how, knowing that you're down receivers, you didn't plan a run-heavy offense for this game. You came out throwing the ball, and the first throw from Jalen was a disaster. That first throw he missed when he could have hit Barkley at the sideline, he threw it too far to the right. And no, he was going to his right. That's very hard to do, and trying to veer it to the left. But, you gotta. If you gotta get closer than that, though. He sailed it.
Yeah. That's. I personally think that they're playing a lot of. I think this is Kellen Moore's offense at the end of the day. This is Kellen Moore's offense. However, in the middle of these games, in the moments of the games, I think Nick is a very impulse person. He's a very emotional impulse person to where, yeah, everything could be struggling, but he's not trusting the process to where he's like, do this, no, do that, run this play, run that play. And I think that's where the head start button.
Yeah,
In the
I think that's
game,
real.
that's where the head start button. Because now Nick wants to run this play, but Kellen wants that play ran. Now remember, Kellen Moore was with the Dallas Cowboys when Zeke Elliott was elite.
Yeah, and
So
Dak
Kellen
Prescott was
Moore
just getting that ball
understands.
down. Dak Prescott was just starting to push the ball down the field on the Kellen Moore. They were literally
Yeah,
showing him tapes of Carson and current quarterbacks who were pushing the ball down the field. And Kellen Moore opened up Dak Prescott's career for sure.
yeah. I'm beginning to despise Nick with a passion. He keeps interrupting the plays and call it. Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with that. And then I'll tell
This
you
is
what,
what's
another
going
thing.
on.
And I'll tell you another thing. That's a good thing he's saying he's beginning to despise him because it's a good word to use because we're being very patient with Nick. Why doesn't Jalen bat for Nick more? When they ask him about Nick, he's always, oh, whatever, or it's a nonchalant answer. Like, I don't want to say there's friction between them, but they don't look like they best of friends. It really looks like a business relationship. And I'm not trying to say you and your head coach got to be, having barbecues on
Buddy,
Sundays during
buddy.
the off season, but it looks like he doesn't go to bat for Nick, and it looks just like Nick says what we want to hear. That's how I feel like Nick is on the media when he's up there on the post. He just says what we want to hear. Jalen's facial expressions give it up a little bit more, as in their relationship is not perfect.
Well, Jalen knows that Nick is somebody that isn't going to make him a better player. Yes, it's on Jalen to become a better player. It's on Jalen to become a better quarterback. At the end of the day, you got to think about it. Jalen is coming into the Eagles with the best situation. You got one of the top offensive lines. You got AJ Brown. You got Devontae Smith. You got Dallas Goedert. He's coming into the best situation. But at the end of the day, Jalen knows he's the one that needs to develop to take this team to the next level.
Yeah,
Jalen knows that. Everybody knows that. And when you don't have a head coach that maybe Nick does know that, and maybe Nick just doesn't know how to develop a quarterback, and Kellen Moore does. But in the
yeah,
middle of these games, Nick is trying to throw his power in, and he wants this play ran. And that can be frustrating. That can be very frustrating if you're trying to develop and you know this head guy is the one that's stopping you from developing.
I'm just surprised Barkley didn't get 20. And Barkley wasn't doing much, so he had that big run. But that big run he had, that's all it takes to make a defense start, putting them back on their heels. 20 carries is what I expected him to get in this game. And I expected Jalen to have some design runs and for them to really make them protect the run more than the pass.
Yeah, yeah. Um, do you feel like? All right, let's look at this. I had this team at 12-5. I had this team at 12-5. Do you feel like if this team goes 11-6, Nick has the possibility of being fired in the middle of the season?
Nick's I don't think he'll get fired at 11-6, but I think he'll get fired at anything under that. I think
Mm-hmm.
if he goes 10-7 or if he goes 9-8, if
Mm-hmm.
he does numbers like that, I think he's gone. You should be getting 12 plus wins out of this team. Even with AJ and Devontae out, I'm telling you right now, they the Bucks run defense wasn't good. It just they needed that big break of a run to get going. And they got going. They should have just kept running with it. And to start the game off, how do you wear down a defense? You run the ball, right? Why not start the game off like that? I can't get over the fact that the game planning was not there. And who is to blame for the game planning? Nick Sirianni.
Mm-hmm. But I know it's easy to say run the ball, but it's too early to keep that battery running with Saquon.
Yeah, I know to kill him in the beginning, but at least in the beginning of the game, set the tone. Like I said, give him the ball 3 straight times, get the first down, at least get going. They weren't getting no
Mm-hmm.
first downs. At one point, they have negative in yards. It was an ugly, ugly game.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. But this game could have been the best time to utilize these people that we picked up in the draft. Why is Will Shipley not on the field?
Yeah, why is he not getting some burn? Like, why is he not getting change of pace looks? Like I don't understand.
Yeah, why don't we have Will Shipley out there? I get it. We put Johnny Wilson out there. That's good. That's cool. But I would like to see Will Shipley out there a little bit because
Hmm.
I think Will Shipley can make a bigger impact than Kenny Gainwell right now.
Me too. I think because Kenny Gainwell is what he is. He's a very short yard, the short yard back. He doesn't, he doesn't come in. He comes in sometimes occasionally on third downs when Saquon's tired. But Saquon's a four down back. You don't need anybody else after Saquon. And I appreciate that the
You,
Eagles have not been rotating running backs, but you
mhm.
do need to mix in a little bit. You do need to mix sign up.
You definitely don't want to you don't want to make it a running back by
Yeah,
committee,
you don't. You
but
don't.
but you would almost want it to be like they're your 1-2 punch because I think Saquon is that big play running back type player, and putting Will Shipley out there, let Will Shipley get some reps.
Listen,
Let
that's
Kenny
perfect that
Gainwell
you
out there
said
a
that.
few times.
That's
Yeah.
perfect that you said that because I was watching Baltimore, and Baltimore has that with Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. Justice Hill, even though Derrick Henry is the main workhorse there, Justice Hill gets his number called, and he shows up. So why not give this guy the opportunity to at least get his number called?
Yeah. Like put them out there. Like let them get their feet wet because
Yeah,
sitting them out there, and I feel the same way about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. too, and Jalen Hunt. Like Bryce Huff, right? Like I'm sorry to go back on the defensive side, but this guy isn't doing anything. This guy's
nothing.
doing nothing. Why? Like Nolan Smith actually performed better than Huff, and I know they're saying a lot of Bryce Huff is used to getting down on all fours when it comes to being on the edge. Vic Fangio doesn't want him doing that. He wants him standing up or he wants him on threes.
3 point
At
stance,
this
right?
point, yeah, at this point, you need to do what's going to make him effective at this point, because now you're making the person that made this business decision to make a trade for him now start to question on the deal that he just made. Like, need to do something with him. But like I said, Vic Fangio said he's coming back, and Jay, let's kind of tap into this a little bit. All that talk about us trying to get Hassan Reddick back. So I don't know if everybody saw this or anything like that. The NFL has a rule about trades. You can only trade back a player after 2 years. The only way we can get Hassan Reddick back is if the Jets cut Hassan Reddick.
Which is unlikely.
Yeah, they would have to cut Hassan Reddick and make him available for the Eagles to pick up. Is it possible? Who knows? Because right now, technically, Hassan Reddick actually owes the Jets money now. So, like,
It does.
yeah. So that's the only way we can pick him up. We cannot make a trade. We can't trade back Huff. We kind of are locked down on Huff unless we try to make a trade with somebody else for a pass rusher. So that kind of shuts down that whole getting Hassan Reddick back. But as Eagle fans, we all have to know we do have one of the best GMs in the game right now. So we do know Howie Roseman might be able to work out something, maybe, to get him back. But Jay, how do you feel about that?
I mean, like I said, if he left the locker room, because I believe in his locker room personality, I don't want him back in Philly. So this whole fantasy of bringing him back, he could stay wherever he's at. He chose his side. I don't ever want to see him line up for Philly again.
Hey, I like that too.
Yeah,
So they got Nikki Facts.
yeah.
Hey, DJ Rock, I want to see all the rookies, including Jalen Sutton, 6'5", 240 edge rusher. And I don't see him at all. Trotter, all the rookies of his complete.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
all
like I was
facts.
saying, Jalen Hunt actually made a stop at the very tail end of the game. I think Jalen Hunt would be. I think he can make an impact on the field.
Yeah, where's Josh Sweat? He's another one. He shows up in the fourth quarter once here and there. Where's Josh Sweat?
Josh Sweat. What I noticed about Josh Sweat helps out is helping apply pressure and setting up play for somebody else to make the sack. Um, but answer this for me: how old is BG? 35.
35.
How is the oldest player on the defensive line the only one getting a sack with all these younger players on the
I
field?
know. And
How
then
is that?
it's that this and shout to BG because he's still playing. He don't even know if he wants to retire after the season, he said.
I heard about that. I
Yeah,
heard
there's a
about
thing that
that.
he's contemplating year 16 at this point.
Hey, we would love to keep him there,
Yeah,
but
that
I'm
tackle
all
for a
about
loss
their
and
health.
sack he had on Mayfield. Mayfield didn't even see him coming, man.
And I'm gonna tap a little bit into BG too. Y'all understand that whether the Eagles win or lose a game, BG has signed with WIP to go live with them every Tuesday morning and talk about the game. I listened to the interview after the Falcons game, and I listened to the interview after this game. And I'm saying they're bashing the whole entire team. They're bashing the entire team in front of BG. And BG is standing one person individually,
Ooh, I keep
standing up for
knocking down
all
my
of these
light.
players. He's standing up for all of these players. So you got to think about the toll that that's taking on BG, having to hear that negativity. Just you're going into an interview to get bashed.
Yeah, I know it's
Like
and he has
that's
tough skin,
crazy to
man.
me.
His skin has become tough over the years in Philadelphia. That I would say.
Yeah, like that's crazy. We got so much drama going on, and
This
then we got this, Jay. We got this nonsense going on. Uh, do you want me to break it down to what was going on, Jay, or
yeah,
do
you
you
could
want
you
to
could you
tell?
could break it down.
Okay, cool. So last week, the game that we beat the Saints, CJ being CJ was talking, saying said a few things about Derek Carr, how he's not an elite quarterback, he's not good, this and that. Michael Parsons, who signed with Bleacher Report to do a podcast, goes in talking about CJ, saying, "What have you done? You haven't done anything. You're not a top defensive player in the league." All this stuff. CJ responds back. So a day after the loss, Michael Parsons gets Darius Slay on his podcast and basically bashed CJ on the podcast. CJ made a comment before the Bucks game saying we're gonna whoop them with the belt. That's good motivation. You going in hype, you going in motivated, you going in ready to play. We all know the game didn't end very well. Bleacher Report does this on Twitter. Micah mentions it to Slay. You got Slay laughing. Slay's cheesing right now.
Yeah, when he gave up the play, he was laughing at it.
So, with that, Jay, because I know you heard about it. What do you think about all this going on?
Yeah, I didn't see the full thing. I just saw that clip. I mean, I don't agree with what he's doing because that's your brother. That's your brother as far as in your teammate, and I don't think you should be publicly clowning him giving up a touchdown to anybody, no matter who it is.
Yeah. Yeah, just clowning him and this is what tops it off. Slay is a captain on the team. You're a captain. You're set to a higher standard. And I know me and Jay do podcasts, not to the level that Micah does it, but whenever you do podcasts, like why didn't Slay come to him and say, "Hey, we're not going to talk about this. We're not going to talk about that," or just not even do a podcast with the biggest rival in this division? Why set
I
things up like that?
yeah, I don't agree with it.
Yeah, and my thing is, whatever happened to this?
Yeah, these
Whatever
times.
happened to whatever happened to Eagles and Cowboys players just not liking each other and going in full just want to shut this team up, stop them, defeat them. Just there's none of that anymore. So Jay, how do you feel about how players are going on the podcast? I personally think that the NFL needs to step in and actually remove players are not allowed to do podcasts in the middle of the season. That's just my personal opinion.
I'll be 100% honest. I don't think I agree with them doing the podcast during the season. Like the reason why I agree with it because they give us insight that we would never know about. You understand? So I like the after the game podcast now. Um, as far as going with the rival with Slade did going with Micah, I don't like that. No, not at all. But I do like players podcasting during the season. I do think it gives us fans an insight, way more insight than we could know.
It gives you insight, but they're not going to break down exactly everything that
Of
happened.
course not. Of course not.
And I think now you're adding another platform to add fuel to the fire of things too.
I
So
think
that's the other thing to that.
I think that Darius is doing too much I think there's a such thing as too much podcasting, and Micah's doing too much podcasting, too often, too much investing in. That's why they're together because obviously we had this conversation before this. They both stream video games. They both do the Twitch thing, so they both are used to being on camera. They both seem to be taking YouTube a little serious as opposed to other players. So obviously maybe they're trying to take that avenue. Like you said, remember you mentioned that before we spoke of it. Maybe they might try to take that avenue as far as professionally after football. But
Yeah.
for him to go on with the rival, I don't agree with. And I just think that the podcasting is okay, but the frequency should be looked at.
And how soon?
Yeah.
It's right after a loss.
Yeah, like
I can see it maybe if it was last week, or let's just say all of our games with the Cowboys was over.
yeah.
All of our games are over with them.
Yeah, like we already faced them twice for the season and you want to say something or come on his podcast on the off season, not in the middle of the season where, that's gonna rub somebody the wrong way in the locker room. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
like BG don't mess with the Cowboys. Feel
Well,
me?
BG
Lane,
even said so. Yeah, they asked BG about it in the interview. BG doesn't like it.
yeah, I'm telling you, see, that's from me without even knowing.
Yeah, BG didn't even like it. Um, and for Slay to do it unexpected, I feel like there needs to be some type of stimulations stipulations between doing that. Like you can't do it against a team that you're going to play throughout the season. Like unless you've already played that team, you will no longer play them anymore.
Because
Like there
things
needs
like
to
that,
be something.
yeah, but I think it'll get to that point if somebody leaks information or some crazy joint happened. Like, remember I forgot what player supposedly leaked the game plan of ours. I forgot what player. I forgot if you remember. Like, somebody got the
That
game
was
plan.
that
Who
was
was it?
that was but that
But
was
we
Nick
got it.
Bosa. That was Nick Bosa, but that was an interview. That was an interview after the game when they beat us. Nick
Mhm.
Bosa was talking about how Jalen runs to the right, and then also it was the Peyton Manning and Eli Manning Monday night game, and Christian McCaffrey was on there, and Christian McCaffrey was calling the plays in the middle of the game of what the Eagles were about to do.
Mhm.
So you got that, but I'm talking about this. I feel like these players get paid a lot of money,
Yeah.
and they they already restrict us from knowing a lot of information of what's going on the teams. So I feel like if that information is being restricted, don't you feel like that information should be restricted to other players on the team from other teams? That
Oh
same
yeah,
information?
that's why I'm saying that's where the NFL, unless a situation comes up where there's a conflict of interest, where somebody gives away something, or like
Mm-hmm.
they say they got it from speaking through this type of way, then I think it'll be
Mm-hmm.
all good. But the moment the NFL sees somebody using it for any type of advantage point, it will become a problem.
But even that, I'm looking at it like this. Let's just say they talking before the podcast or after. Slay, and let's just put a scenario out there. Micah and Darius, the Cowboys and Eagles, are playing in 2 weeks. Mike and Darius are just talking off camera. Darius Slay makes a comment. Yeah, like Jalen's been talking about this. Jalen Carter's been talking about his ankle. Like we've just been dealing with a lot of injuries on the defensive line. Damn, light bulb goes off. Micah now says, "Oh well, defensive line has some injuries from what Slay's been saying."
Yeah. But you
It
know
gives
what,
a
bro?
it gives a
Yeah,
way for a
I
team
get
to
what you're
scheme.
saying. I get what you're saying, bro. But that's something that he would have to say without us seeing, and they would have to prove that in a weird way, unless it comes out on camera, bro. Players talk, bro. Listen,
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they talk.
somebody's gonna share something with somebody along the season, and all these 32 teams, or with their friend or somebody that they're not supposed to talk about. You understand? That's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Now,
But
will
I
they
think
come
that's
out?
in their contracts too to not talk
Yeah,
about that as
but
well.
they're not allowed to publicly speak about a lot of things, bro. A lot of things they're not allowed to publicly speak about. And the moment, like they can't even speak about how a play works. Not even a single play. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing they could talk about. Nothing. Nothing. That's why as soon as you get cut from the team, the first thing they do is take your book and all your equipment from the team, because now you can't pass information to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's just crazy to me, and I think there's different waves of the season too, because you got to think about it. After these, there's going to be a lot of trades being made. There's going to be a lot of trades. I feel like. Even think about after the trades, maybe there's another level of the team when teams start actually playing after these trades are all made.
Yeah. Well, trades are gonna
So
happen. How he usually makes them
after the trade deadline, though,
he usually makes a move, but sometimes that move don't pan out. Like when he went and got Tate, sometimes he goes out and get a guy and it doesn't work. So it's like, you gotta, hopefully he finds somebody, but they need help for the pass rush for sure.
yeah, and I can't even think of a. Well, there's a few pass rushers right now that we could probably pick up, but we need somebody that's gonna motivate the team and is gonna be elite. Like this, or Bryce Huff is developing and he's gonna get better. Like
Bryce Huff should be playing a little bit better than he's playing. I'm just hoping it's still, jitters with a new team, new scheme. But Warren, like you said, he's done nothing. Like to do nothing is one thing to do little, but to do nothing is totally is unacceptable by everybody.
yeah, I agree with you. Let's look at so with all that conversation that we had, the Eagles still have the best odds of winning the NFC East division. That's good and all, but we just want to see more from the team.
Yeah, I want to see
Uh,
more, man.
yeah, but
It's good
Jay,
to see that Vegas believes in us though. Still.
yeah, it's good to see that. Um, Power rankings of where we stand. We're at number 10. We
Yep.
were at number 6.
Still
Yeah, we
top
definitely
10.
yeah. So we need to make some type of
The,
impact.
the,
And
the,
we all
the,
know we will get knocked down again a little bit further down because we do have this bye week.
yeah,
So
yeah.
our number's gonna stay where it's at. So as numbers start moving, we're gonna knock down. So
Yeah, we're gonna be in that ballpark, from 10 to 12, 13 maybe. But you know what? I'm glad to see that the media is still on them as far as seeing them as a top 10 team and seeing them as a division winner. Because I really do think Nick needs to figure out how to manage his team. It's like giving the guy a keys to a Ferrari and he barely knows how to drive, and that's just what it's been with this guy from the moment.
yeah, I agree with you. Cooper DeJean is set to be getting ready to come back playing the nickel position. I'm excited for this. Maybe this is what they've been waiting for. We know he had the injury during camp, and it took him a lot longer than most other players because he was injured. But it's good to get that news. And then with Sidney Brown, that makes it even better. But the last thing we talk about before me and Jay get up out of here is this. Jay, I want you to take the lead on this one.
You know, because if you look at the numbers, they're almost basically identical. But one guy on the right, obviously, is a Super Bowl champion and a winner, and the left hand side is Jalen Hurts, and our fan base is chewing him. And I'll just let you guys know this: what quarterback out there do you think, besides Jalen Hurts, that the Eagles can realistically get is going to give them a better chance to win right now? Right now, I don't think. I think we're putting too much blame on Hurts because the turnovers and all those situations. But once again, Patrick Mahomes is not getting the same heat because they're winning. We almost won the other game. We would have been 3-1. Hurts gives us the best chance to win to me at quarterback. There's nobody on our roster that will come close to it. There's nobody I don't think as a second string that we could trade for that will give us a better shot to win. So I think Eagle fans need to relax. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes, but who gives us a better chance to win than him at the moment? Nobody.
Yeah. And that night of the game, I was hearing a lot of bench Jalen. Jalen's terrible. They need to get rid of him.
What are you gonna get?
Y'all do understand that like Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, they are a package deal now.
Yeah.
Right. Technically they are a package deal.
Yeah.
So
You
like
essentially
you
will
lose
lose AJ.
yeah, you will lose AJ and you will lose Devontae, honestly, because
Mm-hmm.
I think Devontae loves Jalen just as much as AJ does.
I think so too. They have a very good bond, and I just think that we need to be patient because this core is signed through 2027, and let's just be patient. Let's be patient. We're not going to be the Chiefs of recent and go on and win these games. Remember, another thing too, Patrick Mahomes gets bailed out by the refs a lot. As much as I don't want to say, he gets a lot of help from the refs, and he has a better defense than Jalen has. That I will, and a way better head coach in Andy Reid. You understand? They're on the same page. I want to see Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni smiling when they speak about each other, smiling on the sideline, more communicative on the sideline. I just really think that Jalen is who the Eagles need, and he's not terrible. People, I don't understand. He makes the throw last week to Goddard, right? And then those two defenders ran into each other. Goddard goes and runs up on the guy made plays. The guy went on a run. The guy's trucking people. You're not saying get rid of him when he's trucking a defender and grabbing a first down on a 15-yard run. You're not saying to get rid of him then. You understand?
Mm.
I just really think if the Eagles want the best version of Jalen, they got to be a little bit more patient.
And you got to look at where Jalen has been too, with as the conversation that we had about Nick Sirianni, um, under all these different coordinators.
Switching
When
every year.
and yes, Patrick Mahomes has had different coordinators too, but look at who his head coach is.
I know.
Um, Patrick Mahomes deserves everything that he's received so far. The Super Bowl wins. He is the the best
The
quarterback in the
most talented
NFL.
quarterback. Yeah,
Yeah,
he is.
he is the best
100%.
quarterback in the NFL. But the reason why we wanted to show this to y'all is to show we don't see any Kansas City Chiefs fans bashing Patrick Mahomes
For his
for his
numbers at the
play.
moment. For
Yeah, we don't see
his
anybody
numbers
bashing him.
through his numbers through 4 weeks, You don't see anybody killing him. And he's only won
Yeah,
one more game than Jalen.
yeah. We don't see any headlines. Is Patrick Mahomes regressing? Is he what's going on with Patrick? We don't see any of that. So at the end of the day, this is week 4. This is week 4. What were we doing last year at week 4? We were winning
We were
games.
hyped.
Yeah, winning games, somewhat high, but we knew these games we were squeaking out. At
Something was
least with
wrong.
these games, we're making the issue right now.
Yeah.
And we're
As
fixing
opposed
it. We
to
got a bye week.
as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to going through the collapse we did last year and we didn't know how to fix it. Let's get these jitters and these problems out right now early in the season. I'd rather them start like this and get hot towards the end of the season in December.
13 more games to go. 13 more games to go. We're not even halfway. So there's a lot more ball to be played. So right now, with these stats at the way they are, this is just a starting point. Like everybody's going to get better. Chemistry is going to get better. AJ and Saquon's chemistry hasn't even meshed the right way yet. So there's so much happening. But with that being said, Jay, we're about to get up out of here. But before we get out, Jay, just let them know about the interview that we did last week with El
Oh yeah,
Presidente. And
yeah. So we're basically running fan interviews. We're doing a new segment where we interview unique Eagle fans. We did one last week on the live section. You could check it out. This is Mexico's biggest Eagle fan. His name is Presidente Eagle, Roberto. So you guys could check it out. And if you do want to be on the show, you could DM us on Instagram. Hit us up on Facebook if you feel like you want to nominate somebody for the show or somebody we should check out. Preferably somebody a little bit more low key. We're trying to get the spotlight on people with not as big as a platform and give them a platform as well as build our platform. So if you got somebody you could recommend for us to interview, if it's not you, give us a friend, whoever it is, just send us a DM. Appreciate y'all, man.
appreciate it. We want to thank y'all for watching us. Um, and thank you, Nikki,
Shout out to
Roberto.
Nikki.
Yeah, appreciate you, Nikki. And yeah, y'all, we appreciate y'all watching us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be here next Tuesday. We'll be talking to y'all soon. Fly Eagles fly.